Okay, so welcome back. Making some more of these applet pictures. Here we go. So, making what I'm calling the third picture. Again, remember, what we need up here is we need extends applet. This activates all the little methods that Java has created and all the little classes import applet. And again, remember, when working with the applets, we no longer wanted to have public static void main. That's only for applications. In applets, we go straight to public void paint. And let's call this graphics G. Okay, so that's the variable graphics. That's the class graphics that they made a class of. Those are all the colors and pictures and shapes that we could use. The variable G activates all that. So when we do G dot fill rectangle, well, we make a rectangle on the screen, 200 by 200, so that's 200 pixels over, 200 pixels down, and the width of it is 30 by 50. So when you draw this on the screen, there it is, and make it a little bigger. Okay, so that's a little annoying. That's kind of off the screen a little. So what I will show you now is we could put something right here, and you do set size, and this sets the size of the window. And typically you don't make anything more than 800 pixels wide by 800 pixels down in the applets. So if you see it, now it'll pop up, and it's automatically the size we want. So 800 pixels over, 800 pixels down. Now notice it filled it in there black. So if we wanted a little more color, I would say G dot set color. And last time I showed you, you do color dot, let's say pink. So if you filled it in there pink, it would make a nice little pink rectangle. Let's say you want to have different colors. Now, I showed you the whole list here. There's color dot, and you go through this. Now, these are the colors Java's made for you. Although these are not all of the colors, you could actually create your very own color. So what you do is you do color dot, you do new color, and inside here you put three numbers. So I'm just going to put 100, 200, and 52. Now I actually don't know what color that's going to make. What these numbers represent, the first number, these are called the RBG numbers, red, blue, green. So below I created something that has 100 parts red to 200 parts blue to 52 parts green. And the highest you can go is 255. You can't go any higher than that. So whatever color this is I just made, there it goes. I've made a green. Okay, so we'll go on. So you can make colors there. So let's say we wanted something completely random. A color we didn't know, just totally random colors. Int R equals, well, what we would do here is we do int math.random times 255. So what that does is that makes this R some random number 255. So it's R. And then I'll put int b equals int math.random times 255. So the second number will be random. And then finally, the third number will be random. So when I run this, I don't know what color it's going to create until it pops up onto the screen. And remember, the multiplying by 255, that's the range of numbers. Right now we could have anything from 0 to 255 there. And I will put a G there. No, I can't use G, actually, because I already used the variable G up here, so I need to use a different number, so different variable, so I'll say G2. So now this is going to create a random color. So running it's blue right now. If I ran it again, that looks like a purple to me. And I'll run it one more time, and that looks almost a teal-like color to me. Okay, so that makes the random color. Let's say I wanted it to be randomly on the screen somewhere. Int x, so I'm going to say there's an x variable. I don't know where this is going to go on the screen. Now the biggest we said over here was it could be as 800. So I want it to be some integer, and the furthest it could be, the furthest over it could be is 800. So I'm actually going to say 750 because I don't want it to be all the way at the end of the screen. And the furthest I want it to go down, well, let's say the same thing. We don't want it to go off the screen. We want to be able to see it. So I'm going to make this at 750. So instead of having it at 200 and at 200 and at 200, they're going to be random now. So it's going to be a random color and it's going to be a random place. And this time I'll make this 50. So the width will be 50, the height of the rectangle will be 50. So if it makes it all the way out to 750, it will just go over and touch the end of the screen, but it won't be off the screen, so we'll be able to see it. Yep, there's that teal color again. Run it again. I'm gonna run it one more time because those seemed. I want to get like a totally. There we go. Goes up top. Now I keep running this. Let's say I wanted to run. Maybe I wanted to have 10 different rectangles on the screen. What I could do is this entire part here. I'm gonna put it inside a for loop. I'm gonna do for int I equals 0, I less than or equal to 9, I plus plus. So what happens there is that's a for loop starting at 0, going up to 9. Remember that's 10 because you start at 0. Computer scientists usually like to start at 0. Most of the real world likes to start with the number 1, but computer science starts with 0 for the zeros and ones, the binary numbers. So we start at 0, it creates 1, then it keeps looping. It goes up by this I plus plus means go up by 1 until you get to 9. So if I run this, I should have 10 rectangles on the screen of all different colors. I'll run it again, see a different abstract art I'm creating. Now, let's say we even wanted to make it a little more random and make the sizes possibly different. Int, let's say the width is int math.random. Let's do times 40 plus 10. Now the reason I'm doing times 40 plus 10 instead of just doing times 50, I don't want the rectangle to be just a size 0. So this plus 10 forces it to always be at least 10. And then the times 40 is, it could be up to 40. So we could get an actual rectangle of 50. And now the int height, int math.random times 40 plus 10. So here's the height and here's the width. Actually, that's backwards. It's the width and the height. Although mathematically it doesn't matter. Run this now. Now there are all sorts of different sizes and shapes. Actually, no, all same shape, just different sizes. There we go. I'll make them a little bigger because I want it to be the smallest to be 40, and then 10. I like them to look a little larger. Now I can't see the size difference as well, so I'll make it 100. Now some of them may actually go off the screen. This may make it, but now they're a little bigger, so some shoot off the screen because I did the multiplying by 100. Now, I want to write on the screen Mr. Snyder's artwork. So last time I showed you how to do this, you would do G dot, draw a string, and you put in here Mr. Snyder's artwork. And then I want to put this on the screen. Let's put it up towards the top. 10, 10. Then you run it. And whatever the last color rectangle that was drawn, that's going to be the color of the font up there. So it must have been the last rectangle that was drawn. It was purple. So actually, if I show you this again, if I run it again, it might be a totally different color font. And that's green. That's a little harder to read. So since that's hard to read, I'm going to actually have to set the color back. I just want it to be the color black, which is a little easier to read on most monitors. So I do color dot black. Let's read like this. And now no matter what the last color of the rectangle is, the color is now black, so it's a little easier for me to read. Now, that font's a little small. So what if we wanted the font to be a little bigger? Maybe even a different font type. You would do G dot set font, new capital F fonts, and then parentheses. Now inside this parentheses, you have to put three things. Now, let me look over here. I have Word open. I don't want that word to open. So if you go to Word and you could see on the font list, you could pick anything out of that font list. So the one I like the best is Courier. So you put inside double quotations a font type you like. Then you put font dot, I like bold, comma, and then what size do you want? Font size 20. Now I need to import font here. Here I need to make this a capital F and change that to bold, all capital letters. Now because I'm making this font size 20, I need to make this a little lower because that'll go off the screen. So I need it to go down 20. And now if I run this, it should be a little bigger font, a little dark. So that's a little easier for me to read. And this is what I'm showing you is how you can actually start making images look random, how to increase the font, how to make your own unique colors, colors that are not made by Java. And then for loops. For loops are just kind of fun to get different shapes in there. So if you're making an alien invasion game, you wouldn't make all the aliens. You'd have a for loop creating these aliens that keep coming to attack you in the old 1980s and 1970 video games. So what I want you to do now is actually create this program. Go. If you need to rewatch this video, rewatch it. I want you to try to make this program. Try to make sense of all of these new features we're doing before we start going into making our video games. Good luck.